Hi, welcome back to French Fries and Feelings. I am Justine,
And I'm Natasha,
and
and we
today,
have an amazing guest who is our first Zoom guest. So thank you so much.
yay!
So, pretty lady, please introduce yourself.
Well, first of all, I want to say, Natasha and Justine, thank you so much for having me on. When I heard I was going to say pasta. Why am I food?
It is dinner time. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, right, right. When I heard the podcast name, and Natasha originally came to me with the idea, I was like, absolutely. Please have me on your podcast. And I'm so excited to be here. So thank you, ladies. My name is Kayelani. I'm the CEO and founder of Boss Babes and Brunch and the Elevate Collective. We are a female networking experience traveling all over the United States and internationally to bring together female entrepreneurs in a space that allows them to be authentically who they are. And I'm talking about showing up bold, showing up fearless, and being audacious, standing in their truths, and just doing the damn thing as women, as wives, as entrepreneurs.
Here for all of it. Here for all of it.
Me too.
So I wanted you on the pod, um, because we've interacted for years, and I've been following your journey since the beginning, and I'm so proud of you with all the things that you've done. Um, but on the top of all of that, like, you're not the typical social media influencer. Like, you show up as your true authentic self. You show the highs, you show the lows. You are not afraid to like sit there and cry on camera. Like, yeah, I have my good days, but this is the real deal of what I've got going on. But what I also love is that you were not afraid, or I'm not gonna say you weren't afraid, you weren't afraid to show your journey from the typical 9 to 5 to taking a chance on yourself and creating what it is that you are now experiencing and sharing with everyone else. Um, and for those who don't know, Kaylani is a native New Yorker from Hell's Kitchen, Latina, and she is doing all of the things that most of us wish and hope and dream to do. So I wanted you here to share a little bit more about that. And, because it can be taxing, it is mentally draining, it is emotionally draining. So share a little bit if you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Natasha, for seeing my journey since its initiation till now and just giving me an opportunity, right, to share more of my story because I feel like that's what it's all about, right? Sharing my journey and knowing that it hasn't been beautiful, but where I am now and where I am now, I'm happy, right? So in answering your question, I actually thought about this the other day. Yes, it's going to be 4 years in January that I am a full-time entrepreneur.
Woo!
Uh, yeah,
Woohoo!
can you believe it, Justine? Like full time,
Girl,
girl.
you are better than me. You've been doing it for 4 years, and I can't even do it for a day. So you are better than me.
Girl, you totally can. And when I sit and I think about it, I'm like, damn, I really did leave in 22, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so January will be 4 years. So I officially left my 9 to 5 in 22. And it really came because I was tired. I worked in the medical field, I was spent, and I realized that if I wanted to go for more, I had to make bold, big decisions. I had to do more. I had just turned 30 years old. And they say you have like a 50-year-old midlife crisis now. I had that shit when oh, can I cuss on here? I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
You sure
Okay.
can, babe. Go ahead, girl.
I had that when I was 30. I was like, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? Like, I'm old enough to know better, right? And at the time, because then I'll fast forward to where I am now, I had this idea of like rush. I need to hurry up and have like my life established. I need to hurry up and do something more. So I left my 9 to 5, built what was then Collections by Lani at the time where everybody had a Cricut machine. If you guys
Mhm,
know what that is.
mhm.
And everyone was making like t-shirts and mugs and like I thought I was going to be the next Etsy famous woman. Like I thought that was what business was all about. And I started an
Uh-huh.
Instagram off of a bet with my husband. If I gained 1,000 followers, he would buy me a bottle of Moet for my 30th birthday. And it
Love
happened.
it.
It happened. It literally happened. And I was like, shut the front door. How the F did this happen? Who am I connecting with? And that's kind of where I dabbled into the world of social media and really began using it as a tool to grow my personal brand. And I remember then I went to an event. I was, going to pop-ups and vending and doing all the things. And I realized then that women weren't learning the foundational work though to still scale and grow. Now, through all of this, some real tough shit happened in my life. Um,
Mhm.
all while growing the business, I was arrested.
Oh my
And
God.
yeah, it was at the start of the business, actually. So this happened back in 2023, and it was for something that, ignorance is bliss. And
Hmm.
I actually had no idea that what I had done was an actual crime. And without getting into detail, it was something that I was super ashamed of, right? So I had to deal with that. And it wasn't like I didn't murder anybody, guys. Like,
And
for
like,
the
and
record,
if you did,
No
that's
judgment.
fine.
no,
We
for the
all have
record,
feelings.
no. Absolutely not. I didn't murder anyone. I wasn't stealing anything. I didn't hurt anyone. No humans were involved in any of this. Um, And so I was dealing with growing the business and, having to be put in the public eye as this horrible quote unquote person because now I picked up an arrest, right? Like they didn't even come to my house, guys, to pick me up, for the record.
Oh my
So
God.
yeah, so having to deal with all of that and, having a 12-year-old daughter, it was a lot. It was a lot on my mental. So I fast forward, continue to grow the business, continue to travel for Boss Babes and Brunch, continue to inspire women all around, and realize that I was really building a business broken.
Yeah.
I was really building a business broken.
Mm, that is
Without,
profound.
yeah, yeah. Without having like what I thought was foundational work really wasn't foundational work. It was just me working off of this idea of hustle because I thought that's all I knew growing up in the city. That's all I saw from my parents. And I thought that's what I had to keep on doing in order to stay ahead, in order to stay on top of the game. So a lot of the things prior to what you're seeing now was me just working harder and harder and harder and going after the next because again, I left the 9 to 5 to pursue this, so this is the only option I have, right? So yeah, that's kind of a little bit about my story in a nutshell.
Well, if I can ask, what were you doing in your 9 to 5? Because you said you were in the medical field. So that must have not been easy to leave because that's like the typical you made it within our culture. Like that's the top tier. Why are you leaving? Are you nuts? Like how did that
Absolutely.
go?
And if you're Hispanic, you know that if
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not in business, you're not a nurse,
Yeah.
you better be doing something in the medical field.
yo, facts.
So
Well,
to leave that is like a heart attack for Hispanic moms.
Mhm.
and it was, right? And still to this till this day, like nobody in my family is an entrepreneur but me. I don't have not a single entrepreneur in my family, like on
Wow.
either side, mom or dad.
Wow.
So to know that I'm the only one who stepped out and said this is going to be my new norm was hard for my parents, hard for my husband to understand because he still works his 9 to 5. And in the medical field, I was a pediatric care coordinator for children with special health care needs.
Oh my God.
So yeah, it was hard to leave. It took me 6 months of debating, going back and forth on whether or not this was the decision that I should be making. I mean, I was leaving a very, very, very competitive salary, a very great benefits package. Like I was throwing all of that out of the window just because simply I needed to bet on myself.
Mhm.
And the hardest part for me in leaving that was leaving the families that I was serving behind. coupled with, management at this location was great. Like I had no complaints over management. It really was my peers. It really was the women that I worked with that made me feel exhausted to my core.
Oh my
And
God.
yeah, I just had to go. I had to go.
So, can you tell us a little bit about what you did in that specific role and maybe kind of allude to the burnout that you experienced in regards to your peers who don't sound like they were very nice?
Yeah. Um, so I would connect families with community resources. So with a child with special healthcare needs, obviously that comes with many, many, many different types of doctor's appointments, specialties, specialists that they need to see, things like that, coupled with the school and having to navigate the system. A lot of families, specifically where I live, just weren't educated or aren't educated around the school systems and the school dollars and what an IEP is versus a 504. So I would come in and assist the families in navigating those systems and debunking kind of like what the school is telling them compared to what their doctor is telling them, and have like everyone who's involved in that child's care sit at the table to have the conversation so that child can thrive, right? Whether they be wheelchair bound or have asthma. Like asthma is a special healthcare need for a child, right? And a lot of people don't see it that way, especially if you're Latino. Like, no, just take your pompa and keep it
Yeah.
moving. Like that is it. That is what you do. Um,
Yeah.
However, for these families, sometimes it could be more than that. And so I was providing them that education and that support and the resources that they needed. Now, moving into how I was exhausted and how that led to burnout was because I was tired of, I'm a bubbly person. My personality is very grand.
I can
I
attest to that.
Yeah. So I walk into a space and I want to be everybody's bestie. Like literally, I want to know the chef. I want to know the person who's cleaning. I want to know who owns the like I want to know everyone. And walking into this medical facility, it slowly started molding me into a version of me that I no longer knew.
Oh,
And the women that I worked with, the women and men that I worked with, were complacent in their positions, and that wasn't for me. Um, it just no longer fit what I saw life being for myself in the future. So I knew at that point that it was time for me to go. I was snappy. I actually started breaking out on my face. Like stress level was at a high, and it was really because at the time, I just wasn't satisfied. I wasn't happy with life.
And I'm so happy that you actually took the time to acknowledge that you needed to leave because some people, they don't give themselves the grace to know that they deserve better.
Mhm.
yeah, for sure.
Oh,
And on
100%.
top of that, it's not, I don't know if it's rare, but you hardly hear people saying like they loved management but had issues with their coworkers. Like it's usually the opposite.
Mhm.
So thank you for sharing that because most people they're just like, oh, they're just here. We all work here. It is what it is. But no, it's the environment itself. Like that leads to a lot of everything. Like you're with these people more than you are with the people that you live with.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 9 to 5. You're there 5 days a week. Like, dude, it's 40 hours, right?
Yeah,
You're home for less than that. And I think that's another thing. That's another reason why I decided to leave. I started putting those hours into perspective, and freedom is ultimately what I wanted. And I really wanted to spend more time with my daughter, be more present for her, right, in her activities and the things that she has going on, and it ultimately made me a happier person for sure.
I love that.
Thank you.
So, can you tell us a little bit more about it's okay. Let's get it out because I'm literally staring. My dog is currently on my she's on my back. Okay. You have no respect for me, and it's very clear. I'm gonna put her on timeout. Anyways, I'm so sorry. So Kaylani,
Yeah.
so tell us, the listeners, about the first time that you hosted an event or you were able to create like something and you were like, okay, this is actually what I want to do?
Whew, yeah. So that's a great question. The first time, actually, before I went solo, I had a business partner, and she and I met at an event where I was vending and came up with the idea of Boss Babes and Brunch together. And we ended up creating Boss Babes and Brunch together, hosted our very first event together, and brought out 50 women. Instantly, I knew this was for me. I mean, I was a part of a nonprofit organization in New York City called the 52nd Street Project, which really showed me what community was, and allowed me to be myself on stage while also playing another character, right? If that makes
Mhm.
sense. And so,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's where I like kind of, not kind of, that's my whole childhood. I grew up going to this place, and they're just a wonderful community-oriented organization. And so when I had my first experience, when we hosted it together, I instantly knew that if I can commune 50 women in a space for my very first experience and not knowing a single thing about entrepreneurship or what I was doing, then I can continue to see this through. So the second event we hosted again together, but at that point, she already knew that she was going to be out. She already knew that this wasn't for her,
Mhm.
because her job was very demanding. And if I'm being really fully transparent, she didn't want to continue after learning about my arrest. She just thought that I was a
Oh,
horrible human. Um, and these are her words, by the way. And so just like didn't want to continue, right? So we parted ways, but the second event that we hosted brought out 275 women in Connecticut.
wow.
And in that
Amazing.
moment, as I'm looking around the room, and seeing the faces of 275 Connecticut, New York, Massachusetts, New Jersey, we're all in this space. I said, what if I can take this all around the country? Like it was literally that day that I was like, I am going to travel. Like this is it. This is what I'm doing. I felt it in my core. The feedback was phenomenal. So 3 months later, I took it to New York, and then we went to Boston, and then Puerto Rico, and then Atlanta, and just LA, and
All
kept
over.
yeah, just kept on growing and growing and growing. Um, and I just knew that this was for me. And as I continued to grow, I continued to learn, I continued to fuck up, I continued to, just do things on my own terms of what felt right for me and being as transparent as I possibly could be as a business owner.
And I think, like, for me, what, like I mentioned before, what attracts us to you is that you are transparent. Like, you're not sitting there showing all the roses and all the glory that you're getting without showing how you got there. Like, because for someone who wants to go down that path and all they see is the gold stars, it's just like, well, all right, like, how do I get the gold stars too? Like, you're not showing me anything. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's not always gold stars, right? Like you have moments. There were months along this journey, and still, right, as I continue to grow, that of course, like money is great. Financially, it's amazing, right? Like I'm hosting, I'm thriving, and the business is growing. And then there are months where you have $0 coming in, like not a single dollar. There has been experiences that have fumbled, that have lost me hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I feel like what I used to do, what I am no longer doing now, is I would allow people to tell versions of my story and my journey
Oh,
through their lens, never once giving myself an opportunity, right, to fully be transparent. So what you got was like you got the bits and pieces on
yeah.
social media, but podcasting, so thank you for this, is where I've been able to to come out and be like, yeah, I fucked up more times than not. But here I am. And entrepreneurship it is like that. That's what it is, right? Like the most successful entrepreneurs, do you think they got it all together? Absolutely not.
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
And I think it's important for a lot of people to know that the journey to actually investing in yourself isn't linear. There's
Mhm.
always going to be progress forward, setbacks, and everything in between. And I think that your story specifically, especially having to part ways with a business partner who only deemed you a detriment, right, to her brand, to the brand that you and her were sharing, and now look at you, like, I mean, I would laugh every day. I would I would laugh every day. I would wake up smiling, go to bed smiling. It would bring me, not God forgive me, it would bring me so much joy
Yeah.
because it is, you are the embodiment of actually investing in yourself and learning from your mistakes and overcoming anything.
hmm And it's I also say too, entrepreneurship is the biggest personal development journey you'll ever be on because you learn things about yourself and you reinvent parts of yourself that you didn't know you had to work on, right? There were a lot of things, a lot of ideas, a lot of ways that I was stuck in that I didn't realize, well, maybe I should change the way I do this, or maybe I should do it a different way. And it wasn't until I became an entrepreneur that I was focused on that and realize, okay, Kaylani, this is the journey you're on and you're gonna struggle. I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. I was a huge people pleaser, like huge people. Like my whole idea in my mind was like, if a person does not like me, I needed to know why. Like I needed to ask the questions. I needed to like I wanted them to love me. And I couldn't understand why I wasn't made for everybody. And now I'm like, oh, you don't like me? Like we're not playing on the same team? Cool. We can
Right.
still do business together if you'd like, because guess what? Like
Right.
we
Money's
can still
money.
yeah, money's money. We can still make money together. But we don't have to be the best of friends. And I feel like before I started this journey, it was more for me looking for validation from people than where I am today.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it sounds like you've grown a lot over the last few years, mentally, emotionally. Given all of the things that you just mentioned, how do you find time for yourself? Because you talked about like the burnout and you talked about like business partnerships. And how do you like stay fit mentally and emotionally? Like, have you gone to therapy? Are you willing to go to therapy? Like, how do you overcome those things?
So in the beginning, I would cry a lot, right? You would see me get on social media and just bawl like all the time. Um, Crying for me is my therapy. I'm a Cancer, so I'm very emotional, super
You're
emotional.
in touch with your feelings, and we love that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Justine. Yeah, so I would cry a lot. Now I did hire a coach, so I am coached by someone. And I'm definitely open to therapy. Have I gone to therapy? I have not. Because I haven't found somebody who I know. I also haven't done the research, if I'm being honest, who I feel like I can really connect with, right? But through coaching sessions, through a lot of crying, through journaling, and in terms of finding time for myself, like the self-care, I just sit with myself in the shower. I think I've said this on a couple of other podcasts before. I sit and I pray in the shower. And I have a lot of faith in that I can overcome anything that I set my mind to.
Cool. All right. So since Zoom is limited right now, we've got like 10 minutes.
Yes.
All right. What are some of your like key things that you would want to put out there?
In terms of,
Anything that comes to mind.
oh, key things that I want to put out
Maybe
there.
lessons, maybe things you want to plug for your own business. This is your platform, girl. This is your time to shine.
We're just here to listen.
I really, what keeps on coming to mind for me is be kind. Like, be kind to others. Um, give each other grace, give yourself grace, right? If you are in a season right now where you feel like you're lost or you're closing a business or you want to start a business and don't necessarily know how to begin, reach out to me or lean into your community, right? And I can't stress enough how important being a part of community is. Um,
Hmm.
because it's literally what will take you from where you are to where you see yourself going. Like there's real people out there that are there to support you wholeheartedly and
Yeah.
won't stop.
Yeah.
Um,
What's happening?
yeah, so that's basically
Okay. And then Justine, your final question.
The most important question, I mean, besides feelings and how you help yourself, what is your favorite French fry? And you gotta be real like strategic with how you answer this because my homegirl over here said Wendy's fries, and that still makes me sad. They're
Oh, don't
soggy
make
and
that face.
Wendy's fries are soggy and sad. No judgment. If you come out and you say that Wendy's are your favorite fries, I will still support you.
no, actually, I don't think anyone has said this on here yet, but I love a good Cajun fry with barbecue sauce.
You know what? I like that. Flavor.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
And
Oh,
they've got to be from Five Guys.
excellent. Excellent choice.
I
Ah,
don't think anybody said Five Guys. You're
I don't
right.
think anyone has said Five Guys. Not
No.
you are a trendsetter.
And they're
No,
made in peanut oil, y'all.
they
So,
Is
are.
it? I didn't know that.
Yes. Now, if you're allergic to peanuts,
Yeah,
stay
don't eat
away.
those fries.
right,
Unless you have
right,
an EpiPen and you would like to eat responsibly, then by all means, we support you as long as you're being safe.
Yeah.
right.
But maybe don't if you have the option.
Yeah, no.
Just don't.
Oh, Kaylani, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Really, really, truly appreciate it.
Yes, you are fantastic. Please, everyone, check out Kaylani's social media. Join the boss bitches. Let's
Boss
be
bitches. Boss babe.
boss babe bitches.
No, boss babes and brunch.
Join the boss
Oh my
babes.
God.
Let's take over this world. And thank you so much for all the work that you've done, for all the things that you've overcome. And I can't wait to see how you take over the world in the next 5 years.
Clock
Yeah.
it.
Clock it. Ah!